relativism, political correctness seeped into the church. And so, of course, then Father looks insane because he's not appeasing the liberals and the lunatics, which PC culture is all meant to do, force you to appease and bow down and pay obeisance to the liberal establishment hierarchy. We lost all that. The house was built on sinking sand, on secular ideas. Even though Father's word and preaching was so grounded in the scripture, we just thought, oh wow, that's amazing, he knows all that scripture, and then we kind of just forgot about it. And what happened when we left the foundation of the scripture? We left our context. We forgot who we were. We started believing in the world and what it was saying, that we just have to be nice people. And we just have to get along with everybody and not offend anyone. We became little maggots. We became little insects, spineless, totally separate mentally, spiritually from our Father. And of course, this culture was really made by the Han Mother. I mean, you can see very evil and wicked women who try to turn their children away from the Father. That is exactly what the Han Mother did. She would always complain and cry, and even the Father gave her everything. She would always instill within the kids and the children how hard her life was and how much she's chamaying and enduring because of Father. Me and Kukjin, Hyung, Justin and myself, we did not buy that crap because we knew Father directly. And we tried to lovingly coach and counsel Mother as children, trying to be compassionate to her feelings, but at the same time trying to remind her of a larger context. And of course, because we did that, she did that to us less. The ones that would give her more validation of her own self-induced, self-pitying suffering, which is self-induced. You could have had a totally different mindset about it and be liberated from that. You could have been founded on the rock and go to scripture whenever you felt that way. And she could have been a godly woman who was submissive and humble to the Lord, and whenever she had troubles, knew that she couldn't handle it or knew that self-pity wouldn't solve her problems, and she would go to the Lord. She'd go reach out and cry out to Christ and to God, and to read the story, remember who she was. She could have done that. Did we know it at the time? No, we didn't know. All we knew is this was our mom. And she was the true mother who would never betray Father because she was basically deified and like a god. We didn't even recognize what she was doing. You know, because as a child, you're trusting. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of trusting to your parents. We didn't even recognize what you're doing. But now that we see the fall and the harlot of Babylon rising and the betrayal and the desecration and the self-worship and the idolatry and the claiming she's God. I mean, oh my gosh, it's the worst of the worst sins that you can do. I mean, it's like white belt, below white belt sins. I mean, mistakes. Incredible sins in the eyes of God. And this is why the family fathers, of course, they don't understand why she sins. They just think, well, I just always knew her, and it's not none of their. They don't know they can't remember who they are. It's like the Jews that became secular and pagan, syncretic, with pagan culture. They couldn't remember who the hell they were. They had taken on the false identity and they couldn't remember who they were. It is so destructive to turn your children against the Father, because the Father is the figure of Christ in the home. And a woman who does that is a truly evil woman. No matter how much trouble you have with your husband, if you start turning your children against him, you are of your father, the devil. You are an evil, wicked woman. Because you are severing the relationship with the figurehead of Christ, the figure of Christ in their family, which is the key figure, their father, which will allow them to have a relationship with God the Father, because God is a father. You will sever that. Look at all the stupid atheists in the 20th century. The most famous atheists all had terrible relationships with the fathers, or had no father at all. Every single one. Every single prominent atheist. Children's relationship with their father, even if it's just awe and respect, that's the fear of the Lord. Let's say they don't talk to their dad every day. They don't have, men don't just talk it out all the time. But the fact that they have a relationship with their father and they see him positively, and especially the godly mother, who is there to remind the children of their godly husband, the godly man, the godly father. This is critical. Mothers are called to lift up the authority of their husbands and the father in the home, to not cut it down and poo-poo it and belittle it, because that's what they're taught in the secular world and with feminism and the evil ideologies of socialism. They're told and taught to belittle men and belittle their husband and belittle their father and belittle grandfather, to see men as just dogs who are supposed to be pets and servants. This is completely evil. It's a child's relationship with their father will have a huge impact on their relationship with God.